Welcome to Let's Be Well Together podcast. We're your wellness check-in team. Join us each week or when you can. We enjoy exploring wellness concepts and reminding you to make time for wellness. This is episode 113.
Welcome to a new week of the Let's Be Well Together podcast. It's Elise Seifert, and today I'm joined with Julie Wilson. Hey, Julie.
Hey, Elise.
Today, Julie, we are revisiting a topic that we've already spoken about. This topic is 31 ways to reduce waste in your home, and it's based off an article from BuzzFeed. The article is written by Danielle Healy. In our last session, we talked about the first 10 ways to reduce waste listed in this article. So if you're looking to listen to the first 10 ways to reduce waste in your home, please check out episode 98. Today, we're going to continue with the 11th to 20th way to reduce waste in your home. Let's start with number 11. For bigger messes, keep a roll of reusable bamboo towels on hand. Next, replace your individually wrapped pads and tampons with reusable alternatives like period underwear or menstrual cups. Number 13, use a rechargeable electric lighter. Next, use duster refills such as reusable Swiffer dusters. And number 15, invest in produce saver containers.
And number 16, upgrade your toilet with an easy to install Tushy bidet attachment. 17, replace plastic wrapped toilet paper with a shipment of jumbo recycled toilet paper rolls with no inks, dyes, or scents. Next, store bread in a Bread Buddy dispenser. So you save throwing out old, stale half loaves of bread. 19, swap out your plastic sandwich baggies with a silicone stasher food bag. And the last one, abandon single-use wipes and cotton rounds with a pack of makeup remover pads that are made from bamboo. So, Elise, tell me, what is something that you currently use and what is something that you'd be interested in trying?
I love so many items on this list. I love this article because it also gives you direct links to the products. So if you're looking for any of these products, check out the article on BuzzFeed, 31 ways to reduce waste in your home.
And I just want to say to that point, I think we talked about last time, there was one of the items was laundry detergent sheets, and you recommended going out and buying some. I did. I haven't tried them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. So
I hope you love them.
So what about this time around?
Okay, this time around, I know something that I love to use are reusable alternatives for your menstrual cycle. So I've used the period underwear or menstrual cups, and they have been a game changer. I know that those pre-packaged wrapped pads or tampons just seem so wasteful. I would go through several a day, and it just seems like I was creating so much waste. So I absolutely love these products because you feel like they're much better for the environment, and it feels like they're much better for my body. So that's something I absolutely love using, and I tell everyone to use.
Hear, hear. Shout out for the menstrual cups. I totally agree.
One that I would love to use is produce saving containers. I love this idea because it's kind of like a double save. So you save on waste because you would likely throw out less food. And then you're also using reusable containers, which is amazing. So you would save on, let's say, the waste from the container that you're using from the store, like the plastic bags. I've started bringing reusable bags for my produce to the grocery store, and that's also been a game changer for me. So using those reusable mesh bags and then putting them into a produce saving container, I think would make me feel much better about using less plastic.
Exactly. Those reusable produce bags are lovely. I noticed that they've changed in some stores, they've changed like the content or the plastic wrap, and it tears the minute you try to open it. So not only are you wasting numerous bags if you try to use them, But yeah, you're using plastic, so why not eliminate it? I highly recommend those produce bags. I totally agree with you on that.
How about you, Julie? What is one of the products that you like to use, and what is one of the products that you would like to start using?
I really like my bamboo towels. I find that the ones I purchased were quite large. So what I did is I just cut them up, depending on the use. So for a cloth, like a washcloth, or if it was something like one of those like Swiffer mops, and I use like the bamboo towel instead of the Swiffer squares, I've made my own that I can use. And then you can just pop all of these in the wash. And I'm going to use my new laundry detergent squares to clean them now. So this has just really been a fantastic article for me. But the bamboo towels, love those. And then the product that I would like to try and use, that's the cosmetic or makeup remover pads. I currently buy those packages. I think they come in 300, something like that, of the cotton rounds. And yes, it's a lot of waste. And so I think using these bamboo makeup remover pads, not that I wear a lot of makeup anymore these days, but for when I do, the mascara, these will just be easy to use. And again, pop in the wash and I can use my laundry detergent sheet.
Perfect. In the article, it shows a picture of the product brand new and a product after a month of use. I'm assuming that the month of use is being used every day, but it looks very similar. It doesn't really look like it's been used that much. So it seems that the product is very good quality.
Yeah. And as you said, what I love about this article is that they list the companies. So you can go and you can do your homework. You can research that. But it also gives you the idea this may not be the only vendor. So you may source other vendors, but you have the idea and you also have an example of a vendor on this posting.
Yes. And I also love that it presents some ideas that I never even thought about, but it really does make sense. For example, the store bread in a Bread Buddy dispenser. It just makes sense to want to try to make your food last longer so that you're not wasting that food, but not something I would think of immediately when I think of green products or products that help me to reduce waste.
And unique, talk about unique as well. That Tushy bidet attachment, who would have thought? It seems like it's just a plug and play, but I thought the joke was cute for a revolutionary addition.
So cute. And it shows someone installing it and it almost looks like I could do it myself.
Me too. Oh, I can't wait to talk about the next. I think we have 11 more or maybe another 10 more. I can't wait until next time we could talk about the next.
Guests are giving their time, expanding our minds. Today's interview is in the category of physical wellness. I walk by a boxing and training facility called SydFit on my way to work in the morning. It's also on one of my running routes, and I regularly see members jogging around the block, sometimes wearing boxing gear, which I assume is part of the training. And I often think that would be fun and challenging, learning to box. I'm glad to have a chance to speak with you about boxing and wellness. Welcome, Syd.
Hey, Joe, I'm happy to be here.
Syd the Jewel Vanderpool is a champion boxer and certified boxing coach and trainer. He operates Syd Box and SydFit Health Center in Kitchener, Ontario. He trained with some of the world's finest trainers and with renowned athletes, including Lennox Lewis, who, by coincidence, lived in Kitchener and represented Canada at the Olympics. Syd fought for more than a dozen years and achieved a world #1 ranking. He brings more than 13 years of professional boxing and training experience to his members. Syd's abilities and experiences in and out of the ring help to motivate people, and he shares his passion with athletes and inspires SydFit Health Center members to achieve more than they ever thought possible. So if we could, Syd, I'd like to start with some basics. Who are the different types of people who box at SydFit?
Well, John, we have a pretty big assortment of people who train here, all the way from 6 to 66.
Oh, wow.
Our oldest member is actually 65, Jill Jackhammer Dupe. But yeah, we start them off, at 6 years old, just for having fun, just teaching them discipline and the different skills, and it's getting used to using their body. We have a competitive boxing team. We travel nationally, internationally. We have Olympic level boxers. And then our biggest demographics of people are fitness boxers. Probably the average age there is like, say, 35 or 36 kind of.
I don't think of boxing. I don't know why. I don't think of boxing as kind of for fitness. So what are some of the things that people do and like about that side of it if they're doing it for regular exercise?
So what we find is members who enjoy our fitness boxing program, a lot of them don't really want to be running on a treadmill or on an elliptical or on a spin bike, because you're doing the same thing over and over again. And with the boxing, what happens is you're getting the cardio benefits, and you're also learning a skill. You're engaging with other people. If you're doing a class, you can also do private training, and you're just learning something new. So that's what they really love about our fitness boxing program.
I'm just thinking of the cardio. So give me an example. Like, I see people run outside. I always see on TV boxers like to skip, which is really hard. And what about the actual, just like the punching and the moving around? Is that a cardio exercise as well?
Absolutely. And muscular endurance as well. So you're also, helping build bone density while you're hitting the heavy bag. We also do shadow boxing. We have focus pads. You get to work on your timing and your breathing. There's actually a program called Rock Steady, which they use for people who have Lou Gehrig's disease. And they found that the repetitive motion of doing something and also the breathing that's involved in boxing helps them actually improve their life. So boxing is just a great, way to stay healthy.
So there's lots of physical benefits. And let me just turn your attention a bit to the mental side. I can imagine different ways it can help your mental health. From your perspective, what do you see some of the benefits on the mental health side from training in boxing?
The great thing about boxing too is it's a lifestyle. And we see this time and time again. You're not just engaging in physical activity, but you're also learning how to live a certain lifestyle. And in terms of living a clean, healthy lifestyle, boxers most times will do that. So we'll know, so people will come in and they'll start doing boxing, and the next thing you know, they're running. And next thing you know, they're eating healthier. And so really kind of encompassing a holistic look at health. And I think that's one of the things that boxing provides. It's a lifestyle.
Another thing that occurred to me too is we often hear about mindfulness. So there's all kinds of mindfulness exercises, but the upshot is often to get you focused on the moment. What is happening to you right now? And I imagine if somebody's swinging a fist at you, you're going to pretty quickly be thinking about what's in front of you and living in the moment. And that must have an impact too.
Yeah. And we find a lot of our members are founders or business owners, executives, and they live very busy lives. And when they come in here, they have to focus on what they're doing, not because they're getting punched, but because a lot of what we do, whether we're hitting focus pads, there's somebody coaching them. They have to be like, okay, in this moment, what am I doing? Am I able to execute what the coach is asking me to do? So for them, it's an escape. Somebody that come in, they're like, oh, this is the best part of my day. Also, because believe it or not, they're getting told what to do. And many times they're leaders and they're telling people what to do. They get to turn their brain off and just be told what to do for that hour, and they love it.
For a person like me, I'm a lawyer and I'm often thinking and spinning. I think that would be an advantage to me because it's really hard to find those activities where you're right. I never thought about people teaching you, but also just having to push everything out of your mind. Another thing for me too, I wonder about, most of the good lessons I've learned in life come from the school of hard knocks. But I'm talking about the metaphorical school of hard knocks, not actually getting punched. Is there something that comes out of that? Like, I know that most of it's not about punishing each other, but there is you do, if you make a mistake, you're going to feel it. And, is there some kind of humility or, I don't know, what comes from there? Yeah.
So we do offer, so once we have our fitness, program. And then if you wanted to take those skills and take this to the next level and get introduced to sparring, we have a recreational sparring program as well. So you don't have to get in the ring and fight anybody, but you get to practice your skills with other partners. And that is really where it brings the life to the art, because now you're like, oh, That's why I need to bring my hand back up quickly after I throw a jab, right? And so, and what you find then is it makes that connection and everything becomes so real. And when you get in the ring with somebody else that has a certain amount of skill and they know how to move and maneuver, it's a chess match. It's so real and it's so raw. And it's, I love it because in the ring, I can tell people's personalities. When somebody's boxing, I'm like, okay, I know how you are in life. You're a thinker. You're methodical. Oh, you're very aggressive. You're like, I'm just going to take everything. Like, I'm just going to move on anything. Like, and so it's really interesting how people's personalities come out in the ring.
It must be interesting for you too, because you must then think for each boxer being different. Okay, this person, I'm going to tap into this part of their personality, which helps, but I also have to teach them to resist that part of the personality, which doesn't help. So that must be fun for you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Like, so we just had, we did a 10-week program where we had, business people come in and learn boxing for 10 weeks. And then they got to get in the ring and fight at one of our fight shows, which happened on Saturday. And one of the young ladies, well, she's 44. She's an engineer. As we were working, I could see her trying to calculate everything. And I'm like, no, this isn't engineering. I want you to feel it.
Right.
Feel what the movement's supposed to be like. Don't try and calculate it. It's too rigid and so just working with people with where they're at and helping them kind of draw out the next step to get them to break through to really unleash a new level. That's what I love.
It just sounds so interesting. I can imagine how in that sport, you're knocked out of your comfort zone, but in a way where you develop other aspects of your personality. So I can imagine it being great. Now, let's say I wanted to join and I wanted to spar, but I don't want to hurt anybody or get hurt. Like, what happens in those? I take it I have some kind of cover on my head and, the gloves are nice and thick so you're not causing any injuries?
Yeah, I mean, we have sparring and we have protective gear in terms of the big gloves, the headgear, the mouth guard. But really, it comes down to the coaching and making sure that all the participants understand the etiquette of boxing and sparring, and they have, the ability to defend themselves and control their punches. We don't let people just go out there and say, okay, let's just go wild, 100%. No, we start you off with controlled sparring. All right, 50% power. Let's start with just the jab. And then we go from there to, all right, let's add another punch. And if at any point along the way, someone cannot defend themselves, we go back and we teach them, okay, this is how you defend this punch. Because that's the art of boxing. Hit and then not get hit. All right, that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, and when you make a mistake, you're going to feel it, I'm sure.
That's right, yes.
You point out that the way you teach, you often find that members achieve more than they thought possible. Can you give us kind of an example or some context for that on how people find that they can do more than they believed they could?
Yeah. There was a young man who came in and he was like 260 pounds. He came in for the morning classes and he just kept showing up and showing up and showing up. And then he started losing weight. And then next thing I know, he's like, hey, Syd, like, could I start maybe doing some of the technical sparring? And I'm like, for sure. So he ended up losing 85 pounds. And when I asked him, I'm like, this is crazy. I want to know, what was the key? Like, how did you make this happen? He goes, my goal was just to show up. I knew if I showed up there that you guys would take me the rest of the way. What we do here is we believe in people. We believe in the possibilities. When somebody walks in here, I'm looking at them and I'm like, I see what you can be. I have that vision in my mind. So even if they don't see it, I see it. So I believe in them. What we want to do is we want to push them hard enough so that they walk out feeling like they accomplished something, but not so hard that we demoralize them or they don't want to come back. And it's the fine line, but we've kind of got that figured out, I think.
It's a really wonderful way to put it. It's one of the things I talk about in my book because I used to be way overweight too, and I had some success losing weight. But I only ever had success if I did a couple things. One, just kept showing up, as you say, slowly over time. It's a long process, and it sounds like that's what happened with your person as well. And the other one too is it has to be something sustainable, and it's not pushing me too far. It's not pushing me over the edge, and I want to come back. And that's okay if it's little increments over time. So that sounds really cool.
Yeah, and like you said, you know this, right? It's those little increments over time that are going to create those lasting habits. It has to be a habit. It has something that you can, do daily. Like, can I make a little change that I can maintain every single day? And those are the things that are going to last and really have those long-term benefits.
my experience was, and it sounds like your people get this, that you have to change your lifestyle. You can't do a diet. You can't go on a temporary learning thing. You have to change your lifestyle. And I can imagine getting into the boxing lifestyle. That would be a kind of a code, I imagine, and a way to live.
Absolutely. And, we are in the fitness industry. So I'll say, hey, we're going to do a 12-week program, whatever it may be, a 12-week program, because sometimes people need to identify with a goal that's not too big. So we'll give them that. Hey, 12-week program. Oh, I think I can commit to 12 weeks. If I said, guess what? This is for life. They're like, yeah, I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah, well, the other side to it is I also tell people, try a bunch of stuff. Try biking, try running, try swimming, try boxing, try whatever. Keep trying stuff until you find the thing that you like. And it sounds like lots of people like boxing, and I can understand why. Okay.
Yeah, we do that all the time with people. They'll come in, they'll be looking for something, and they'll try it out. And then I'll find out from them that they really love dancing and they love the social aspect of dancing. I'm like, go do dancing.
Right.
Like, if you like it and there's a good social environment for you and it keeps you moving, do that thing. Like, that's the thing. I love fitness. I love health. Obviously, boxing is my thing, but more importantly, I want people to move and be healthy.
Yeah, that's me too. So just before I turn to the question I ask every guest, Syd, I understand that you're doing something with a nonprofit. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, in October, we started Destiny Athletics Canada. And this new not-for-profit, what it is we're there to help elite athletes bridge the gap in funding, create strategic partnerships, and give back to the community. So I say there's the 3 C's. So we have cash. Athletes need funding, especially in Canada. So we help get them funding, but we call them funding partners, because we just don't want to do a transaction. We want to build relationship. So we're very big on creating relationships and partnerships. And then we have the connection piece. So making sure that we create strategic partnerships that when the athletes are done their careers, they have something to go towards to when they're done their career. And the last thing is community, probably the most important thing. And we create opportunities for the athletes to give back, because many of them are so busy with their career, they don't have time to source out places to give back. So we create those opportunities for them to give back to the community and mentor young people. So the 3 C's, cash, connection, and community, and Destiny Athletics Canada.
It sounds amazing. And I love the way that you're giving them a chance to give back, because I've done a lot of service work in my life, and it's so enriching. I can imagine how that will inspire them even on their journey, but also outside it. So why don't you send me an email with a link to that, and I'll put it in our show notes so people can look it up.
Amazing. I can, for sure. We'll do that.
There's a question we ask every guest, and it's a context where there are many areas of wellness that are important to us and not enough time in the day to focus on all of them at any given time. So we do a mini wellness check-in. Are you currently neglecting an area of wellness in your life? And if so, can you think of even one thing that you could do to foster wellness in that area?
Whoa. All right. Well, I started. Today's day 4, and as soon as I'm done here with you, I'm going to go do it. Strength training. I wasn't doing my strength training just because life got busy, and then, you get in this routine, and I need to do my strength training to just stay healthy, and it's good for my mind. So that was the area, and I'm on day 4, and I got to tell you, I've been a little bit inspired by Mike Tyson, watching his videos, because he's making a comeback to do a fight, and I'm watching him like, okay, if he's 58 and he can do it, I got to get my game up. So I'm on day 4.
That's amazing. For some reason, I love Mike Tyson too. Just so you know, I did the same thing about, I'm going to say 2 months ago. And I never been big into strength training, but over the past few years, I started doing it and then I fall off. Anyway, I started doing it. I was feeling amazing. What I love about it is I just feel so great when I walk around, but then I had a little injury. So I've had 2.5 weeks where I haven't been able to do it, and I'm so looking forward to it. So I'm glad you're getting back into it, and I will too. So Syd, thanks so much. I'm going to keep looking when I walk by your studio, and I imagine one day I might even knock on the door and say, let me try this. We'll see if that happens.
And I'll be like, John, welcome. Right. Let's do this.
All right. Thanks a lot, Syd.
All right. You're welcome, John. Have a good one.
I'm Cameron, and welcome to another installment of the Adventures of the Starving Artist. So as you know, I'm doing music all the time. Lessons in the daytime, rehearsals and performances in the nighttime. It never ends. But today was really cool. Today I got to start my day with a performance. And it wasn't just like, a performance in a bar or a rock band performance. This was with at the Beacon Heights retirement home, where they're having a March break staycation. So they're having a different theme every single day this week, and they're bringing in a musician to play music fitting that theme. And so Rockstar Music, which is the company I teach with, brought in a performer for them every day this week. And as it happened, none of my other teachers were able to take today's. So I jumped in, and today's theme was Mexican. So a Mexican vacation. Now, you may remember I don't speak a lick of Spanish outside of the staples here. Por favor, gracias, ¿cómo estás? And cerveza. That's all I know, and it's gotten me this far, so that's great. But overnight, I brushed up on a few songs that are in Spanish, and full disclosure, I had to look up the translation for some of it, as well as the phonetic pronunciation for some of it. But I did perform a few in Spanish today, and the residents were very happy about that. But as the event was winding down and towards the end of my performance, they were asking me to just play anything, not necessarily in theme or on brand, if you will. So I was just pulling out tunes that I liked and that they knew. So there were some old jazz standards. I performed an old one called Cuando, Cuando, Cuando that I had actually never heard before. But the residents knew it, and a few of them were singing along, which was great. But what I want to tell you about is right at the end. So I'm packing up my gear and sort of chit-chatting with some of the residents that wanted to hang around, and we're shooting the breeze, talking about the different staycation themes they've had and, what they're looking forward to and all that good stuff. And one of the ladies sort of interjects and says, "Now, forgive me, do you mind if I guess how old you are?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine. And I promise I won't be offended if you guess really high or really low. It's cool. What do you think?" Now, if you're not sure what I look like, let me paint a picture. I'm pretty small. I'm 5'5". I'm pretty slim. I'm in decent shape, and right now I have a beard. So it's kind of all over the map as to how old I could be. So the first guess out of her mouth was, "Are you 16? And I laughed out loud, and I said, "No, try again. I was once. Try again." So she keeps guessing and guessing, and eventually, she wouldn't guess over the mid-20s, and she just kept bouncing around. I said, "Actually, Agatha, I'm 30. Believe it or not." And she did not believe me, and it got to the point where I actually pulled out my driver's license and pointed at my birthday. I was like, "Look, 1993 right there." She did not believe me. Too funny. But yeah, that's how I started my day today. Some Mexican-themed music, some beachy tunes, take our mind off the what's left of the snow up here, and thinking about warm, sandy beaches and cold cerveza. Not a bad way to start a Wednesday. That's it for me. Just a quick little sneak peek into a staycation performance and some fun times with trying to guess my age. Have a fabulous week. I hope you're having a great March break, and enjoy the sunshine. I'm Cameron. This is The Starving Artist. Until next time.
We don't have any ads yet, and that's on purpose. We're sharing stories and experiences to give back, to inspire, and get people talking about wellness. 2 quick points. My personality is to present things in a progression. Once I cover a point, I often don't go back to it. If you want to see the whole picture about wellness I'm trying to paint, listen to all our episodes from the start. Second, it's costly to put out a podcast. You can help me defray that cost by buying my book, Accidentally Well by John Webster. It's available on Amazon, Indigo, or anywhere you buy books online. Please consider buying a copy.
Move that body like we're meant to do.
Hello, everyone. It's Elise here with Sheila. Hey,
Hi.
Sheila. Today, we were hoping to talk about a form of workout that's kind of been popping up all over my social media, and I've been reading a lot about it. It's called somatic workouts or somatic stretching.
Yeah, because you were talking about this on Sign Off one week, and you were saying that you were doing it, and I don't really know what it is or what it's about. So I thought, hey, let's talk about it on Move That Body. So Elise, can you give us like a definition or an idea of what somatic exercise is?
For sure. So somatic exercise is kind of like a form of meditation through movement. So it's a form of stretching, but rather than trying to focus on how you should look from the outside. So maybe when you're stretching in a yoga class, you see your teacher do like a warrior two pose and you see what it looks like and you're trying to recreate that with your own body. Instead, somatic stretching is creating stretches and then trying to feel from the inside how it feels and make sure you only move in a way that feels good for your body. So maybe not trying to push too much and just listening to what your body needs and doing whatever your body needs.
Yeah, very interesting.
This program was introduced to me in one of my workout programs. So I use an online program called Obey to do my daily workouts. And they have a lot of pre-made day-to-day programs for people to follow where you might progress with weights. So in this particular program, it was a 4-week program, and every Friday you would do somatic exercises. And it started with what I would just call meditation, because you're just kind of sitting and connecting to each part of your body and doing kind of a body scan. And then we would do some movements where you're just twisting your body however feels good, stretching up, stretching down, however feels good. So there's no kind of guideline for what your body needs to do, just moving in a way that makes your body feel good.
And supposedly it is a way of reducing stress. You can reduce stress, you can reduce tension, and even trauma in your body, in your muscles, in your joints, in your nerves, doing somatic exercise. So I thought that was really interesting.
It sounds amazing. It's definitely a way for you to connect with yourself. So I could see how it could reduce stress, because maybe you might sense something in your body that's not feeling good, and then you could help to try to see how to fix that. Mm-hmm. So I could see where that's coming from. I definitely don't have a ton of experience with it, but it's something I'm interested in exploring more.
Yeah, supposedly it's pretty new. So the research is just getting started, and they're just saying that this could help with that. But from what I was reading, you do a lot of maybe contracting certain muscles and then throwing that away and however you want to. And like you said, it is personal. You do personal movements however you feel like your body wants to do, which is kind of related to dance in a sense, because when we're dancing, you express the way you want to express. And it actually reminds me a lot more of modern dancing, because when you're doing modern dancing, you aren't focused on balance, on holding. You're focusing on extending your energy from inside to outside. And you're never really trying to reach a certain balance or a certain posture or form. You're just from the inside and you shoot it out. And that's why often you'll find that they're not on balance. They're falling off balance and moving. And that's kind of what this is like too. So that's really cool.
It's exactly what it reminded me of, was my days of doing modern dance and improvising. And what I love about modern dance is it kind of just throws out everything you think about dance out the window. You're not thinking about trying to look beautiful. You're not thinking about trying to kick as high as you can. You're just trying to explore how movement feels in your body. And it was some of my favorite ways to explore dance.
Definitely.
So it was really fun.
It's really fun to perform it.
Really fun.
Really fun. Yeah, I love it. So here is steps for somatic exercise. So the first step is notice your inhales and your exhales. Number 2, identify at what point or time where your body is and where you're going, what your body is doing, and then what your body wants to do. Number 3 is repeat. Supposedly repetitive motion helps the nervous system calm down. So you're supposed to try and repeat those scenarios to help calm and de-stress. Slow down. Tune in. So that's number 4. Tune in. Number 5 is healing hands. So there you go. 5 steps for somatic exercise.
There's a thought. Popped up while running. Regular listeners will know that I try and run 10 kilometers at least once a week. And also I've got a bit of a back injury right now. So I'm not doing my other running, and I'm holding off on doing some of my weight training. But I am getting my 10K run in every week. Luckily, that's not hurting my back too much. I was out for my 10K run yesterday. One of the things I did relates to my niece who just passed away, and I was thinking about her. I usually listen to music when I'm running, but I turned it off for a while. And again, was reminded to look at the sky, to look at the trees, to smell the fresh air, to really take in the moment. And I did that. But my running pop-up came later. I was listening to music again, and a song came on. And by coincidence, it's one of the songs that Sheila and I were practicing dance to, because we're both taking dance lessons. And the thought that came to me is, you are never too old to learn. Never too old to learn. I hate to admit it, I am turning 60 this year. And that one seems like one of those birthdays that you don't want to have happen, but it's going to happen. But I still can learn. And Sheila is an amazing dancer, and she keeps impeccable timing. If I make a mistake, she adjusts to it so quickly and all that stuff. And I'm frankly, I'm doing better than I thought at dance, but I still keep running into problems. So we'll be rehearsing, and my foot will maybe kick hers, or something will happen. And I give her a bit of a dirty look, as if she did something wrong. And because that's the instantaneous thought that comes to my idiotic mind, that she must have done something wrong. I, of course, immediately realize she didn't. But the thing that gets me is she doesn't snap at me, right? So I'm the kind of person, unfortunately, if you come to me and say, I can't get my computer to work, because I know lots about computers, I'm like, no problem. And I start explaining it. But if I get a whole bunch of nonsensical questions or dumb looks, I have a hard time not being like, oh, for crying out loud. It's not that hard. So I really have to hold that in. And sometimes it sneaks out. Time and again, we've been doing these dances and I screw up, and I maybe blame Sheila. I'm not going to admit that I did. And she looks at me, but she doesn't actually react. And I realize it's a good lesson. I'm going to make a better effort when I'm working with people not to kind of snap into situations like fixing computers and some other stuff where that sometimes comes up. It's me.
Yeah. Just let me say, flip side of the coin.
I'm sure a lot of you have heard on the podcast, because John and I talk about it often on Sign Off, but we are doing ballroom dance classes. And so we thought we'd talk about it a little bit and tell you how it's going, what we're both getting out of it, and how we're going to proceed in the future. What do you think, John?
Okay. Haven't really thought about the future too much.
Okay.
But I'm happy to talk about it because it's been going better than I thought it would, both because I always thought that I had 2 left feet, but the dance moves we're learning aren't that complicated. It's a matter, I think, more of repetition and getting used to it. And also, in the past, I kept feeling embarrassed because you are a dancer. And so I always kept thinking, oh, I'm terrible at this. And you'd say, try this, and I can't do it. And I find it's a lot easier when we're being taught by an independent third person and I can just do my thing. And frankly, you're doing a great job not telling me what to do. You're just letting me make my mistakes and learn from them.
Okay. Yeah. 1, I am doing a great job at that. Thank you very much. And 2, I find it incredibly frustrating when you tell me that I'm doing something wrong.
I know, it's so hilarious because I'm like, Sheila, you're off the beat. And then you just, normally your normal self, you'd take a strip out of me, but you just kind of roll your eyes.
Well, because I have to be incredibly patient, and I have to let you, and actually this is something that I've been finding that I've been enjoying with this, is I know that you have to lead. I knew that going into it. And so I have to let you learn at your speed, the way you want to. You make your mistakes, and I just have to follow along. So I'm actually finding that really cool, because that is not something that we've done in dance ever.
No, never, because usually our normal modus operandi for the decades we've been married is that I kind of try and look nice-ish, move my hips a little bit and feet a little bit to the beat. And then you do all these spins and all this other stuff. I have no idea what you're going to do.
Yeah. Even the arm twists and everything, the arm, things
right.
that we do, I do them all.
And then we get off the dance floor and wow, you guys are great dancers. I'm I literally did nothing. I just moved my feet a bit and Sheila did everything. So I didn't think that you'd let me lead either.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying that. And it does remind me a lot of just regular dance class, because in regular dance class, it's incredibly repetitious. You do the same things over and over, and you just improve a little bit on those moves every week. And that's what we are doing. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with you leading. And even if you're not even on the music, that's okay. I have to follow you, and that's okay. So I'm actually really enjoying it. And I'm loving the fact that you are getting excited about it and you're trying to learn.
We've never danced that close.
No.
If you're leading and it's ballroom, you have to wrap your right arm around the woman and the small of her back, like you hold tight,
Yeah.
right? Because you need that. And I kept holding it too loose and you'd like tighten it up.
Yeah.
And then the left arm doesn't really matter. But the point is it was so tight. I'm like, how in the world do you dance like this? And what I found really cool is as I'm getting the steps and as I'm getting used to that, now where I often fall apart is keeping my beat.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it drives me crazy if you count. If you go like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it drives him absolutely bonkers.
Stop counting.
Because you're like, what is the beat to this? And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Which is great at the start.
Counting.
But I don't want you to keep going and going. Anyway, so I tend, and so then when I was thinking about complicated steps, not complicated, but a bit, then I seem to always lose the beat.
Yes.
And now what I'm finding is the more I'm doing it, the more I can feel the beat. But also because I'm holding you so close, it's almost like I can sense where your legs are going to go.
Good.
And so I can just kind of flow from your legs keeping the beat.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I've learned, that we need to learn how to dance together. So we both have to feel each other's movements, because we're like, oh, that's too small a step. That's too big a step. And how that moves. And the fact that you're holding me tight, you can move me with your hand that's on the small of my back, which is really cool too. So I'm really enjoying that. So these few things that I'm learning, like the hold is very different than what I thought you were supposed to do. And some of the steps are different than I thought you were supposed to do. So that's really interesting. But I do feel like we are learning.
So my thinking is, I wish we'd done this many, many years, like decades ago. I almost wish I learned this in high school or something.
Yeah.
These are relatively close. I went to an all guys school. That would have been awkward.
That's true.
But these are relatively straightforward steps. So right now, what we've done so far is foxtrot, waltz. We've started the mamba and East Coast swing. And for sure, the waltz and the foxtrot, if you can just learn those two dances, there were been so many times in my life where I've been so much more comfortable on the dance floor and having so much more fun.
Yeah, I wish that they do teach this, especially to guys, because girls, we do dance classes, and girls are it's more common for girls to do dance, and we love to be on the dance floor. But now I understand that guys, why they don't want to be on the dance floor and how you guys have to lead these things. So if you could learn some of this stuff, you'd be so much more confident as an adult.
Okay, well, let's keep checking in. But so far, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Please remember that we're not providing advice. We hope to inspire you to work towards balance, and we urge you to consult with qualified people if you need advice. The people on the show are speaking in their personal capacities. Their views expressed are their own, and don't represent the views or opinions of their outside contacts, their employers, or anyone else. We try to get things right, but we can't guarantee everything we say is correct, or that the things we talk about will work for you. Let's be well together, and let's be sure to do that in a safe way.
It's sign-off time. It's Elise here with John and Sheila.
Hello.
Well, it was my first week back to school after our March break, which is kind of our spring break here in Canada. So my week was focused on just getting back into my routine and waking up early, doing my workouts, packing my lunches. But overall, it was a good week despite the very cold weather. So this week, I'm looking forward to some more warm weather, hoping to do some more walks outside. And I've also been hitting up the pottery studio, which has been a lot of fun.
Nice.
So it's been really nice to get back into that. And it really helps me to feel like I'm a part of the community here in Owen Sound. So I've been really enjoying that.
That's great. You got the artistic and the social one that's going on from pottery.
Exactly. How about you, Sheila?
I have a lot to talk about, actually. So first, I'd like to talk about the Quebec trip. For my mom's Christmas present, each of the siblings are doing something with my mom. So my sister and I went to take my mom to Quebec City over March break. So we left on the Thursday. We left really early in the morning and we ended up going to Montreal. We got there around 10:30 and we spent the lunch there. And John and I spent a lot of time in Montreal when we were first married. So I took them around and showed them Crescent Street and showed them all these fancy places that I never was able to go to because I couldn't afford it. And it just so happened that we were passing one of the designer stores. There's all these little designers all on the lower level of Crescent Street. And there was one that my mom was like, oh, I really like that one. So we went in and we were looking around and the gentleman who was at the desk started talking to us and telling us that he was actually the designer, which was really cool. So he was explaining how he does his work and what fabrics he likes. And he looked at me and said, can I dress you? And I was like, what? And you got to remember, we just drove like 6.5, 7 hours, right? So you don't feel like the most beautiful. And I was like, oh, I guess. So he started dressing me and he tried on all these clothes and moved and put this on and that on. And it was beautiful. Oh my gosh. It was quite the experience with the actual designer. And he's taking pictures and putting it on his Instagram. And I bought a few pieces. So that was really quite cool. And then we got to Quebec City.
And they are amazing. Like Sheila showed them to me and I'm like, I don't ever remember seeing you look like that before. It's just so new and different and amazing.
It is really amazing. So the whole week I was so busy that I couldn't, and I really wanted to take the time to show John. I wanted to kind of give him a full fashion show. So it wasn't until a week later.
Yeah, we were so busy.
I actually did the fashion show. So I was really happy that he liked them. And then we got to Quebec City and we stayed at the Chateau Frontenac and it was amazing. It was a winter wonderland, like almost like you'd see in those Hallmark movies. The snow was just light and fluffy, but it was still kind of warm. And then our way home, we kind of hit a little bit of a snowstorm and then it's been snowing ever since. That is the Quebec trip. Wednesday was Kate Flanagan's 24th birthday. She passed away a week ago and we're starting a Kindness by Kate. You can check that out on Instagram. Every 20th of the month, we're going to do a kindness because Kate always liked to help people. And so that was her birthday and we spent it together and we made t-shirts that said Kindness by Kate and we raised money for Mamas to Mamas, Mamas for Mamas. That was amazing. And on Thursday was the internment for Kate. It was a private family function not far from our house. So we offered to have the reception at our place. And although it was a private family function, there was about 75 people and everyone brought food. There was so much food and so many people. I wasn't sure we were all going to fit, but it worked out great. And it was so nice seeing a lot of the people, especially the cousins and the people on Amy's side. So that was really lovely. And the weather actually held up because the 2 days prior, it was incredibly windy and cold. But the sun came out and it wasn't too cold. So that was really nice. And the last thing I want to mention is the ballet. John and I went to the National Ballet. There were 3 parts. The first was Utopiverse. The second was Islands. And the third was Suite en Blanc.
Right.
And it was really fun. We haven't gone to the ballet like forever since before the pandemic. So it was really nice to dress up and go to the ballet. And of course, I wore my clothes that I got in Montreal. So that was fun. What do you think about it, John?
I thought it was amazing. And just for a bit of context for people who don't know, like Sheila is a ballet dancer. Mm-hmm. She trained at Le Grand Ballet Canadien. So for Sheila, going to the ballet is even more special for the rest of us because she sees so much more in it. The Utopiverse, it was a premiere, choreography by somebody associated with the National Ballet, I think, and it was premiering. It was quite different. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was amazing, and I haven't seen ballet in a long time, but the thing that blows me away the most is it looks like they're floating. It looks easy, and I know how hard it must be. So they can make something so hard look so easy that it always blows my mind.
Blows my mind. And there were sections that I was like, I don't even know if anyone understands how difficult it is. Brise, 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 volet, when they're just like the guys, and they kept doing it over and over again. So that was just so enjoyable. So we had a busy last 2 weeks. And what about you, John?
Well, because there's a lot going on that you described, I'm not going to go much into it. I just wanted to talk about one thing about the gathering we had for Kate. I was having a hard time remembering. This happens a lot of times when people die after an illness and then you go to the internment or the funeral. I was having a hard time picturing Kate, right? So I saw her in a hospital bed in my mind, or I saw her at the gravesite, mm-hmm. right? And that's not the Kate that I remember. And it was just so great. People brought a whole bunch of pictures. And there was one picture in particular where, to me, that was really meaningful to me. I saw her eyes in a way that just brought her right back to life, because she had these amazing eyes that some people have when they're looking around a room. You can see they're seeing everything. Mm-hmm. They see right into people. They're very receptive. And then also all the stories, mm-hmm. all the great stories people were telling. And, you know, there's something about these traditions and getting together like that brought her back to life. So that was a really amazing thing. And I'm glad we had a chance to spend time with family.
It really was, yes.
Okay. Well, that was a bit longer of a sign off than usual, but with so much going on. We hope everyone enjoyed the show, and we hope to see you again next week.
That is it for today's show. Please try and make wellness a priority.
You deserve it.
If you feel the need to talk to someone or ask for help, please do that.
Accept yourself for the person you are.
So long.
Adieu.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.